Well, good morning, folks. We've now come to a place called Pyramid Lake. I don't know what goes on here. Apparently there's an island and a bit of a walk that you can do and so on. But just outside Jasper, a short 4-kilometre drive on a -15 morning. And you can come and adventure here. So let's go and have a look. Alright, let's go down the trail. It's a cold morning this morning. It's kind of a shock after having 10 degrees. Oh, and the sun's coming out. And this is Pyramid Island. And there we go. And apparently you can rent out the island for special events. A special event when the temperature goes above 0. Rent out the island and all party. And now we can see the sun coming out now on the mountains. There are mountains around us, huge ones. That's the lake. Frozen. Ah, there's a snowman in the middle. And across the boardwalk we go. And off we go to the little hut. Have a look here and oh look, so you've got kind of a theatre seating where you can do talks and present stuff. Let's have a look at what's on the sign here, because it tells us all what's available or what's around. It's kind of cool. Let's move on. Going in the shack. I bet this is really nice in the summer, but I bet it's really busy too. And you can hike across the lake right there. There's a trail somebody's made to go across. And what have we got here? That's cool. Built in the 30s. Hello.
You've already been everywhere already.
So here we are, standing in the middle of the ice on Pyramid Lake, just above Jasper. And we will head off now. Snow's pretty thick. Apparently they're supposed to move some of this for ice skating, but not today. Maybe that's a weekend thing. Well, I thought we'd stop and show you some of the devastation in Jasper. We're on the main highway here, and this is the main highway that takes you from Jasper to Lake Louise, and it's called the Icefields Parkway, and this is just south of Jasper. So we'll go and we'll just have a quick look. So there, across the road, is one side. Imagine this being on fire all the way up into the mountains at the back there. And if we pan around, you'll notice like this splits off and goes to a lodge, and all over the mountain you can see where the fire ripped through, and all that's left is the spindly sticks, trunks of the trees. And you can see how burnt these trees are. It must have been one hell of a sight to see. Unbelievable. So another little spot outside of Jasper is a place called Marmot Basin, and it's a ski resort. And we just went up, and the highest elevation base camp in Canada. Sharon had to correct me there because I forget stuff, and I've only just been there 2 seconds ago. So there you go. So we're going to have a look. There's an overlook, a lookout, and hopefully get some good shots.
I don't know how much of it showed. I've been there, done that.
La 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 la. And then we have the Rockies in the background. All over there, as far as you can see. Let's just head up on the main road. And we get run over. Do 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 do. And there we have the Rockies. And they're actually skiing from up there. Coming to you from Marmot Basin, really high up in the mountains. 1600 and something above, I don't know, sea level. 1698, there you go. Just had the official count. Well, folks, that brings the Jasper visit to an end. We spent a little time in there. I didn't do any videoing around the town last night. We got here pretty late, and my battery was dead anyway, so no worries. We're going to go head back down the Icefields Parkway now, and hopefully we can get to see the stops that we wanted to make on the way up. So yeah, come and join us. We'll be heading a few hours down to Lake Louise is where we're heading actually. So yeah, but Banff is a really nice town. It's a great place to visit, and we're just finding outside roads that take you to great spots like the lake that we've just been. So that was pretty good. But if you look over here, you'll see they're building right now. It seems to be the south side of Jasper that got hit, but look, if we can have a look over there. So that seems to be where they've stored all the machinery, where they're digging all the basements out. And if you look way over the other side, you'll see how close the fire was up this side. You see all the burnt trees and so on, and all the trees that are burnt over there, and all the way on the back of the hill and the mountain at the back there, all burnt down. So, and you can see that, oh, that was a gas station. You can actually see the pumps, where the pumps were. So they're going to be digging out all of the fuel containers in the ground there, I would think. But all the way around the back, you can see that all down there is where the fire ravaged through. So yeah, So that's Jasper, folks. Sharon's in A&W getting breakfast over there, and because there's no drive-throughs in Jasper, so everywhere you go, you've got to try and park to get food, or park on. There's a lot of parking spots, but yeah, make sure that you're aware that